We can now see the finish line to the end of our Atlatl Spear Challenge. We've been working towards a great day where we can go out into nature and have some friendly competition and games with our Atlatl spears, just like we used to do when I was growing up. But first, we need to somehow drill some holes into our Atlatl throwers for our hand pegs, and make sure everything is glued in tight and secure, using only Aboriginal tools and methods. You're about to see some creativity and primitive technology at work coming up. Okay, these are some drills that we're going to use. One's made out of ocean spray, and the smaller one's made out of Indian plum. There's also a couple of agate stones that we're going to use for the drill bits. But before we dive into it, thank you to everyone that's been watching our videos, subscribing to our channel. We're all about drawing strength from the wilderness through bushcraft, nature, adventure, and wilderness survival. So if you're into all that like we are, support the channel right now by hitting the subscribe button, liking this video, sharing this video, and let us know in the comments what your passions are related to the outdoors, so we can make videos that you want to see. So we've got our drill bits ready to go, and we're actually starting by drilling out a series of holes in sequence. This is going to make the process of grooving out a space for our thrower pegs so much easier when we start cutting into it. We're grooving out the holes here with 2 saws, and then we're just working it down to fit in the back peg. This is a flint chip that we're using for scraping and grooving. This chip that we're using for scraping is made out of black jade. Black jade is extremely dense, and it's one of our go-to tools for so many jobs that we do. Using some scouring rush here to sand it out and make it smooth. We're just using a piece of leather here to buff it up and make it look nice and shiny. I admit we had some reservations about using a wood as hard as you would, but now that we've reached this point in the project, the nice light color of the wood along with its durability and just overall appearance has reminded us why we took on such a challenging material, especially using stone tools. This is a piece of sandstone that we're using for grinding the wood down at the ends. We're using black jade to do a little bit of polishing here on the wood. This peg that we're cutting is going to be the thrower peg where our dart or spear will insert at the top of the Atlatl thrower. We're cutting a light groove at the top of this thrower because that's where the nettle tying material is going to wrap around the thrower peg. Just doing a quick temporary fitting here to make sure the placement's right. It looks like this is going to work perfect. This stone that we're using as a reamer is to prepare some spots to begin drilling the holes for some hand pegs that are going to go on for grip. Okay, time to drill out these hand pegs. Now if you're just making a couple of play spears, not Atlatls, maybe something for a kid, you technically wouldn't need to add the hand grips, but we add pegs like this because it dramatically affects how much power you can supply the thrower and distance you can cover with your spears. We're going to cut these pegs out using a small saw. We're just going to do some grinding here on the pegs so we can get a better fit once we put it into the thrower. This is a really cool technique for Aboriginal drilling. We're collecting some of the obsidian chips to assist in drilling the holes. Just working on cutting another peg and using the adze to prepare it. The pegs are being cut from an Indian plum shoot, which is a really hard, dense wood. Measuring and cutting the peg here, it was helpful to put in a split in the stump when chopping it with the adze. Okay, we're going to start right here to tie our peg on. It's time to warm up some pitch and seal the nettle binding that's wrapped around our peg. This will protect the binding and keep everything nice and tight. We got to prepare this charcoal and hardened pitch, so we're putting them inside what we call a smudge pot. To stay on the theme of Aboriginal, we're going to make a hand drill fire to melt our pitch down so that we can use it to glue in the pegs to the thrower. Why not use the river cane here as a fire blower? Native Americans made fire blowers out of river cane. All the way down to the last detail, we're keeping things primitive. We're using some fire tongs here made from ocean spray. All right, it's time to glue in these pegs now using the melted pitch mixed with the charcoal. This Atlatl thrower is done. The spears or Atlatl darts, they're also done. We've done everything using only primitive tools and methods. Now the final step in the process is also the funnest. We're going to go put our creations to the test, just like we used to do when I was a kid. Don't miss my favorite part of the series, our Atlatl games. It's coming up next. Also, don't forget to support the channel by hitting the subscribe button, giving us a thumbs up, and leaving us a comment. Thanks for watching.